Hello, 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 hello. How's it going? How's it
Hello.
going? Yesenia, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Hear an echo. Is that me?
Not
Oh,
sure.
oh, hmm. That's weird. Let's see if we could figure that out. But yeah. Let me know, guys, if y'all could hear an echo. I thought that was me. But yeah. Thank you for joining us, Yesenia. Where are you joining us from?
I'm right now in Raleigh, North Carolina.
That's great. I got to actually meet you in North Carolina at the Empowered Podcast Conference this year, 2024. It was great, and we got to talk, chat, and talk about cameras, microphones, podcasting, and it was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such a great conference too. I really enjoyed it and getting the chance to connect with other creators.
Yeah, and I felt like we should definitely do a live stream because we have a lot in common. We're both creators. We both shoot Sony. We're both photographers, podcasters, and building setups and all that. So I was like, let me just get on a call with her. It'd be amazing.
I love it. Yeah, we got to geek out a lot about like gear and whatnot. So definitely a good idea to just chat about it.
Oh, let me fix this. Ooh, that was too big. Hey, Joe. Let me make this, adjust that, make that
Hello,
bigger.
Joe.
Alrighty. Is the echo gone? Let us know if the echo is gone. Let me actually peer in. Let me fix this. That was too big. Hey, Joe. Yeah, it sounds like the echo is gone.
Yay.
Um, awesome. But yeah, I guess we could talk about our creator journey. Like, what was your first infancy stages in your creator journey that kind of like led you to this point? This is something that I always have a conversation I have with other creators. Like, so what was yours?
I think that, well, before becoming a podcast coach and strategist, I was a photographer for almost 10 years, actually more than that, but with my business, almost 10 years. And one of my first jobs that I got to do was to intern, eventually work for a local photographer who was very well known in the photography industry. And I got to see how she ran the business, but also one of the things that she did was to produce video for her YouTube channel. So I just got to see how, the business was ran and what she was, the process behind creating videos and uploading them to YouTube. And I'm like, well, she's very successful. She is doing YouTube. She's a photographer. I guess I need to do this. So okay, let's do this. Let's get on
Yeah.
YouTube. No strategy, just like, all right, let's do this. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, I always see that too in my journey, and a lot of other creators. Like, we just have all these ideas, and we just no strategy, just excitement, enthusiasm. Let's go. I love that. It's almost similar to mine. I stumbled upon photography by looking at a friend of mine who was doing. He was a model, and he also was jumping into photography. So I just shadowed him, and then a friend of mine who's a well-known photographer. He'd done film photography, video photography, all that stuff. And I just said, hey, man, can I shadow you? And I just followed him around. And it was just one of those things where it's like, I could do this too. I'll do YouTube. He was doing YouTube. He was doing magazines. He was doing what I want a website. He has a website. And it's just enthusiasm, and it's just amazing. So just hearing that just got me excited. Yeah.
Yeah, I think enthusiasm is something that you need to have if you're a business owner or a content creator, regardless if you're starting out or if you're like already 10 years into the journey, because I mean, you need to go into whatever that is that you're doing with
Yes.
enthusiasm and like that creativity and that gumption of like, I really want to do this. Because otherwise then it's just going to show up with and how you're presenting your content and whatnot. So yeah, definitely having enthusiasm and that go getting attitude is always good in this
Yeah.
case.
Ha- You ever had a shoot with a client where you weren't enthused about the project and you just showed up?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I think there's. no shoot was perfect, or no shoot is like the ideal scenario. So I'm sure that I've had some situations where the conditions weren't ideal, but
Yeah.
obviously as a professional, it's your client, you need to go into it. um, but yeah, I think overall I try to approach things with a positive mindset, and like seeing what I can learn from this experience. And obviously that comes with time. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily something that you get from your first few years in business. You get it with time, but it's part of like the overall mindset.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to motivate yourself into doing it, but then actually just doing it within itself is just motivating. Like you said, be a professional, get it done, and next time charge more or say no. You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly.
so speaking of charging more, like what would you say was remembering your first paid gig? Like what was like your paid rate for a photo shoot?
Okay, well, actually, this is not bad for my first gig. I got $800 for a commercial shoot.
Whoa. Oh, oh, excuse me.
But wait. So
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be bad, but that was like such a lucky shot, because I knew somebody that was working for this big company in Puerto Rico. So I had a little bit of like a foot in connection there, and that really helped out. But after that, like I had shoots that were like $100 or 50,
Yeah.
very cheap, very like low budget. I did get a lot of those
Yeah.
after that big experience.
Yeah. I had a shoot with a my first couple of shoots were like $50, $50, 75. And then I magically got into a situation with a celebrity and I did a celebrity's product launch. So I launched this celebrity's product and it was like a $10,000 paid gig. And I split that with my photographer friend, and it was just my biggest shoot. And I was like, "Well, there's no going down from here. Sorry, folks, it does go down from there." And it's kind of like I wouldn't say it's hard to do that, but it's just like, wow, I had my first big celebrity shoot, paid crazy amount, and now it's like I'm still doing photo shoots and bar mitzvahs for clients here.
Yeah, it's definitely an up and down, especially as you're starting out. Even later, as you're maybe one starting out, but two, maybe if you're pivoting or testing out new services, you're gonna see those fluctuations. I think that if you're starting out and you're on the lower end of charging, see it as an experience, learn, and then when you feel more confident, start increasing prices. Like when I started shooting weddings, I had already previous professional photography experience, but nothing like a wedding photographer. So I looked a little bit of the market and saw what the overall pricing was, how comfortable I felt. So I started, putting myself out there as a wedding photographer, and then started getting gigs. And once I started getting experience, I started racing up those prices really quickly.
Mhm.
And then getting to a point where you feel like, okay, this is a good rate for my overall expenses and my overall financial goals, and let's go with that.
So it sounds like you have a really, even though you're creative, you're an artist and you're great at it, you're also very strategic. Like, that's amazing. Like, you just came up with, you have a game plan, you have a financial goal, you have all these other things. How did you come up with that? How did you like
Oof.
start that mentality?
Um, it took me a lot of time. One, being comfortable looking at my own finances, not ignoring them, being mindful of like what expenses are happening in the business, and then how much money like how much money do I actually want to pay, like want to get, and then from there, just little by little working and seeing how what rate would be ideal for this particular shoot, and then being confident about selling those numbers, selling that particular rate, because that's another whole different topic of like the mindset of, well, if the mindset of, am I will somebody pay $5,000 for me to photograph their wedding? Like I won't pay it, or that mindset. But just because maybe you can't afford it doesn't mean somebody else can't, or somebody else won't see the value in the work that you create.
Yeah. And it's all about confidence. When I started photography, I didn't really have confidence in my photos. It really took me a long time to like gain that confidence, and it was through speaking with close friends, speaking to my wife, and saying, "Hey, babe, maybe you could try editing this way. Hey, take your time to like instead of charging clients, do beta test where you build up a portfolio and test out different types of clients. Hey, I'm noticing that you're taking photos of these particular types of clients. Try practicing with these people. And over time, I become more confident. Over time, I invest in the right equipment. Well, I'm coming in there with an A7 IV and a 7200 lens. I'm going to take some great photos. I'm investing into myself by buying the right equipment where I know I'm not going to miss the shot. So clients, when they hire me, they're hiring not just me, a camera person, they're hiring somebody with 10 plus years of experience. So I have to set my rate accordingly. So if I charge my clients $25 for a wedding, hey, they're not gonna, they're not gonna really feel confident in me. They want to do it because they are budgeting, they're stretching their dollars. So they say, let me just pay this guy, but they're not going to have confidence in me. And I won't have confidence in myself. But if I charge a client $2,500 for like just a quick headshot or whatever the case is, I'm going to be extremely confident that this person respects my time and respects my expertise. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to value your own work. Value your own worth for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And what would you say to those creators, those podcasters? And we're going to get into the comments in a few. If y'all have any questions, like leave them down below. We'll get to them. But what would you say to the entry level, just starting out creator, podcaster, YouTuber, and they're not confident in themselves? What would you say to them?
I think that a lot of the lack of confidence might come from the thought of I'm not ready there. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready. We're not born ready, but we learn as we go. So I think start. That is might sound cliche, but like start before you're ready. Like start. You have something, as something that you like to do, something that you feel like this is what you want to need to do right now in your life, and that could be starting your YouTube channel, starting a podcast, picking up a camera and start taking pictures, start writing, whatever it is. Just go with it and express that creativity, and then you don't know, once you do, you don't know what that could then evolve into. So just go ahead, and if you're ready, if you have that gut feeling of something that you want to do, go for it.
That's awesome. All right, we have a couple of people here. Oh, I guess they said that the echo is gone.
Yay.
Nola's here. Nola's a podcaster.
Hello,
Um,
Anola.
hey, we got some nice people here. So if you have any questions, please do leave them down below. Question for you. What would you say is like an entry level camera for somebody who wants to start YouTube?
I would say a webcam, and like low key, low budget, get a webcam that can shoot 4K at least. So that's in the $100, like 100 and something dollars, something like that. I don't know a brand in particular, but Logitech could be one of those.
Yes.
Start with that. Start with that. Don't, can you use a better camera? Can you use lenses and all the fancy schmancy stuff? Sure. Do you need it to start? No. So get a webcam. Start with that.
I love that. Um, we got some comments here. Love the last advice. No one is born ready. I love that. Yeah. Uh, I remember my first on my YouTube, I unlisted all of my old videos, right? But I remember the enthusiasm that I had when I got my Dell Latitude D630 laptop, and it had a webcam. I was on YouTube every single day vlogging. Hey guys, my car broke down. I'm stuck here on the road, but we're here. Let me know what you think, guys. Should I call, the AAA, whatever? Hey guys, I have coffee for the first time, and I'm vlogging, sharing ideas. I'm just enthused. And then I noticed that over time I'm getting better and more comfortable in front of the camera. And it's just amazing. So starting with the webcam, it's perfect because there's no pressure. You don't have to worry about charging the battery, adjusting the lens. It's just pop it on top of your camera and you're really good to go.
Exactly. And if you, especially if you have an older model of a laptop that might have a webcam built in, if you have a newer model of a webcam, then that gives you a little bit better of a resolution and quality. So that helps you step it up a notch a little bit. When I started my video podcast 4 years ago, I started with a webcam. It wasn't until 2 years afterwards that I went ahead and started using my DSLRs as part of the video with the video, so increasing that quality. So there are other ways in which you can improve the quality of your video besides just having a fancy schmancy camera.
Yeah. Oh, we got a really good question here. L, well, let me increase the size a little bit. That way we can see it. L says, I'm very stop and go when it comes to my creativity process. Like it'll be super motivated and recording podcasts. Then I stop for a while. What would you recommend I do to keep consistent?
Good question. Um, Thank you, Elle. So I would say one, what gets you motivated in the first place to get into that like consistent drive, and then ask yourself what is it that usually starts trickling the actions of then you stopping that recording process, and then see if maybe there's something that you can do to mitigate that. Maybe it's like you're setting high goals for the realistic time frame that you have available to create content. So maybe go and like adjust those goals to match the realistic the reality of your current situation of you creating content. Maybe you want to create 2 episodes a week for your podcast, but you can only do two a month. Then work on creating 2 great episodes a month, and then build from there. And then when you feel like you have something that allows you to be more consistent, then you can analyze everything that's happening in your life to see, okay, well, can I now add more? Can I do more? Because sometimes we feel like we want to do more, more, more because we see all these content creators doing a whole bunch of stuff and like creating lots of videos and reels and everything. Um, and then we try to emulate that, but then something happens that we're not able to. So analyze your current situation and see what motivates you, what's detaining you from continuing that consistency, and then what are your goals, and then try to match all of that in a way that is realistic for you so that you can still show up consistently in a way that works for you specifically.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take that advice for me. That was some really good advice. Um, Elle is a podcaster. She has a great podcast, and I like what you said. Maybe just focus on 2 podcasts a month. And to me, I might be biased, but she has a great speaking voice, and she also is a great storyteller. So I'm always fascinated when she drops a podcast. So if she can drop 2 podcasts a month and have some high quality stories, I'm going to be locked in. So I love that. Joe has a recommendation for webcam with Sony sensor and great autofocus, the Osbit Tiny 2 Lite, $180. Oh, look into that. All right, we got a comment here. I recommend to read. I think Elle has told me about that book, Atomic Habits. I've heard great things. Yeah. Oh, I think I lost your audio.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself.
Oh,
I was gonna say I love Atomic Habits, and I don't know if you've read it, but so James Clear, the author, he says that in order for you to build a habit, you need to remove the hurdles that prevent you from building that habit.
hmm,
So, like if your idea is to create content, then and you don't find that inspiration or motivation, then maybe one thing that you could do is like dedicate 1 day a week or 1 hour or 30 minutes to write your ideas, and that's it. And like the next week, go ahead and do the same thing. So you're making this big content creation goal your big milestone, but you're doing these tiny little steps to build into that.
yeah, and I feel like, oh, also shout out to Elle. Elle said thank you, and her
Sure.
podcast is called The Agreeable Great Area. So if y'all want to listen to it, check it out. It's everywhere you listen to podcasts. Um, but I wanted to talk about just that in general, what you just said, and I feel like that's something that a lot of us creators do, where I want to learn how to do YouTube. I want to learn how to do a podcast. Well, let me start practicing my microphone techniques. Let me study which microphone to get. And we don't realize it, but we're doing exactly what you just did. Or some people need to realize that it's small little steps. And those small little steps get you to the mountain of where you want to be as a creator, as a podcaster, as a writer, whatever the case is. Small little steps, waking up early in the morning, jotting down some ideas, waking up in the morning, maybe sketching out some things that you want to do, and then actually doing them is building that step so you can get to where you need to be. Yeah.
Exactly. Make it easy for you to build that habit. So if you want to journal your ideas, then get a notebook and put it in a place where you know you will always see it. So if it's your desk, put it next to your desk and it's like your journal, my writing idea. So that will like do this that will serve as a reminder to, hey, make sure you're journaling your creativity notes, your
Yeah.
ideas, brainstorm here. Little things like that to help build that habit.
So I started, I guess I haven't said this to anybody, but this is new information, but I started back drawing. So I got me this Huanon drawing tablet. So this is like a screen. So it'll mirror Photoshop, mirror everything. And it comes with this fancy dancy,
Oh,
fancy
nice.
smancy, as you would say, pen. And I'm able to like draw on there. And I'm like, wow, I was looking at some of my old stuff and I was in bed this morning, like frustrated, like, man, I remember I used to be so good. And I thought about it. Well, I was drawing every single day. And of course, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm slowly getting back to that. So I've been drawing something small. I've been animating as well. Animation is something I always wanted to do. I used to do it years ago. So I'm slowly animating and I'm getting that enthusiasm and it's
Nice.
really, really fun. Um, Elle said something pretty funny here. She said, "I started flossing my teeth every morning because I stacked it. I stacked it on top of my habit of brushing my teeth every morning." Yeah, something simple
That
as that.
worked. That's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
it.
yep.
Exactly it. I mean, you're already brushing your teeth, so want to stack it up and add it.
All right. Oh, no problem, Elle. Let's see, Joe. The journey of 10,000 miles begins with a single step. Yes. Um,
Yeah.
I forget the name of the book, but it's one of my motivational videos that I listen to. They started off by saying the first thing to everything is a step. Like, just take the step. Everything. You want to start animating. You want to start drawing. You want to start doing live streams. Start. Just take a step. Jump right into it.
Exactly. I mean, let's just take the Olympics as an example.
Oh yes.
All these amazing athletes,
It's a
I mean,
perfect.
Simone Biles wasn't born, I mean, she's something else, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but she needed to go through all the steps of learning everything until getting to where she is right now.
Let's get to this comment here. That's what I'm doing with on my studio build. I know people will say otherwise, but I want to be comfortable with my surroundings. Plus, I feel like there's always the idea of creating content now. Yeah, I mean, with MySpace, we have this. Me and him, we have the same similar build as far as like room, and I'm consistently trying to make it better. Like I'm
Right.
consistently trying to make it more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Efficient for you?
Efficient. Yes, I want to like eliminate friction. I want to be able to, if I have an idea, I can start drawing. If I have an idea, I can start podcasting. If Yesenia says, "Hey, Gil, let's get on a podcast," I'm ready to go. I might have trouble looking for my headphones, but hey, I'm ready to go. you know, but yeah, it's just one of those things where you just have to like start and go.
Right, right. And like, I think he does bring up good point of feeling comfortable. So like I think it's that balance of finding the good level of comfort where you can start creating content and then from there, keep adjusting and seeing how you can improve your space.
I'm sorry.
I
so
honestly thought that's what you said. I'm like, okay.
so
I know it wasn't what you were saying, but it did sound
I'm
like
so
that.
sorry. Guys, I wasn't born here. I'm not American. I don't My first language is not English, but Huanon. I'm so sorry. Huanon. QAnon. by
I
the
thought that's
way,
what you said.
by the way, this is not the first time that I made that mistake. Somebody else said that. Did you say QAnon tablet? I thought they'd make pizza or something. But yeah, Hugh and on. So yeah, that's hilarious. Yes, thank you so much. I've always wanted to get back into it. This is like the smallest, not the smallest one. This is the 13. This is just the one that I'm like, all right, if I'm going to invest in anything, I don't want to spend $800 to $600. Let me at least, and I got a really good deal on it. It's normally $200 to $300, but I found it on OfferUp for 150, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
pretty much brand new. It's like the guy was like, I don't want to draw anymore. All right, cool. I'll start drawing for you. but but yeah. So what passions are you slowly reigniting, or are you just sticking to photography and podcast production?
Well, you can't see it from
I
here.
see it. I've been
Guitar, guitar.
that's what I wanted to ask you. Yeah.
So I'm trying to. I recently. Oh, actually, last year I've stopped marketing my services as photographer and really going into video podcasting. So I'm doing photography for myself. So if I want to take a camera and do that and just for me, I'll do that. But outside of anything that is close to my work, is really two things. Recently, I picked up the guitar this February and started learning how to play it. And then I do triathlons every now and then.
Nice. Yeah. I've always wanted to play guitar. My dad played the guitar. I've always loved it, but I can't read music. I just can't for some reason. But I'm sure with something with practice, you can get back into it. But I really want to play guitar soon. Maybe not today. Um, like I said, I've been getting back into drawing, and I've slowly been getting back into the gym. Like it's been something where it's like, let me wake up in the morning, work out for a little bit. It doesn't have to be insane, and just come back home and do it again the next day.
Yep. And
Yeah.
fun fact, you actually don't need to know how to read music to play the guitar. I don't know how to.
Oh, tell
There
me
are
about that.
tablatures. There are tablatures, and it's specific for guitar. So you just know the chords, and based on the chords, then you will play a song. So you have a, let's say, the C chord, and then you have a strumming pattern like down, down, up, or whatever, and
Hmm.
then you have that sequence of chords, and that's how you can play it.
Oh, really?
You can
Okay.
definitely have and play it with like reading music, and I'm wondering that might be for classical music, classical guitar. But if there are any guitarists here, please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, you all you need to do is just know the chords and then the strumming patterns, and it's strumming.
That's okay. Well, now I'm gonna buy a guitar. Thanks. Yeah, 'cause I've always wanted to learn how to play. It just for me is like I just know how the music sounds. So
Yeah,
back in the day at church, I used to play the piano and I would listen to the hymns and okay, well this sounds like this, and I would practice where that sounds and just play that. That was me
nice.
as a kid, but I never learned how to read music. It just if it sounds like that means that's the key, and I just keep finding the key till it sounds like it. Then I learn the patterns. So I'm assuming guitar is essentially the same thing.
Kinda, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool that you can pick it up just by hearing it. That's amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. All right. So let me say let's get to some questions here. Gil, you'll be so proud once you see it. It's a setup to allow multiple backgrounds for 2 to 4 people on a podcast. Basically, it will allow for various setups. I love that. Like my
Nice.
setup is pretty much set up just for 2 people. Let me see what it let me show you. Overlay cameras. All right, boom. Oh, no, that's your setup. Your setup looks great too, by the way.
Thank you. And I
Yeah.
recently changed rooms for, this used to be the studio, so I painted it, and I'm gonna add some acoustic panels on the corner, but it's coming along nicely.
Yeah, I love that. And this is my setup. It's 2 chairs, uh, plants, light, tons of lighting. But yeah, I love it. Let's see. Let's
I
get
love your
back to.
setup.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. How do I get back to that? Let's go to the interview. and add you to the right. Boom. Gotcha. There we go. That's Ecamm. Let's see here. Is it Wacom or Wacom? I don't know. Wacom
I call it
killed it from
Wacom.
Wacom. Me too. But somebody told me to call him Wake. Somebody said Wacom. I call him Wacom. Wacom killed it for me. They no longer support M1 Max. Really? They said that I had
Oh,
to get a new tablet or use an older machine. So that's funny because this one came out, the Huanon came out in I want to say right before the M1 Max. So that's interesting. I well, let
I
me
used
see.
to love those Wacom tablets when I was a designer. I loved them.
Yeah, this is the Intuos Wacom. This is a small. This is the one I kind of started with. This one works with my M1 Mac. So, but it's kind of a limited real estate, and it's not. Really would like to have a screen on there, which is kind of why I invested into the other one. Um, let's see. Y'all spaces looks great. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
And Joe says it's way calm. Okay, way calm.
Wacom.
uh, but yeah, you have any other questions for me as far as like creating or anything like that?
Me or the audience?
Oh yeah, no, the audience, guys. Any questions that you have for Yesenia or me? Joe says, looking forward to seeing safety safety setup. What's safety? Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I can't wait for his setup because this is he's talking about here. I really would like to see it. So when you get a chance, email it to me. I'd love to take a peek. Do you do behind the scenes stuff as far as like podcast production for your clients?
I have done in the past. I don't do it often because mostly it's just my clients do their own productions and
Mhm.
their locations. Like some of them are out of state, and others are here in North Carolina, but they record remotely. But yeah, and especially during the pandemic, I did do a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
So, as far as like for your remote podcast, how do you do your podcast remotely with your clients?
We use Riverside, so they'll so it has a feature where you can log in as a producer, where your photo, your feed, your video or your audio is not going to show up in the final production, and then you can coach them like, hey, fix your lighting, or you're doing audio testing and just directing overall, and that's how you can do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Joe says, how do y'all come up with topics for content? Hmm, that's a good. I'll go first. For
Yeah.
me, it's gonna be weird, but I get a lot of my topics and ideas when I'm not doing the thing. If I'm at the gym, if I'm at work, if I'm working on a car, if I'm hanging out with friends, I'm always like enamored with ideas outside of content. And sometimes it's content adjacent, and I'll just make it about, okay, how can I turn this into a podcast episode? How can I turn this great or bad experience with this client into content? What can I learn from this situation with this friend, family member, random person? So that's how I come up with my ideas.
I love it. I love it. It's a testament to like how why it is so important to not just consume content related to your industry, but content that is different from your industry, and also just to foster your creativity in general, so that you can get those ideas flowing.
Hmm.
As far as me and like how do I come up with topics, a mix of what you said, of like not working the work,
Yeah.
but also doing looking at my analytics, seeing looking at YouTube, looking at my podcast analytics, seeing what the trends are within my own content within the past 30 days, the past 90 days, and to see if there's a pattern of a topic or a theme. Is the audience looking more for beginner type content, or is it more mindset? Is it more business focused? Whatever that is. So looking at those analytics is going to help you a lot, give you an idea of what your audience is more interested in, and also asking them, like, literally, what do you want me to create? And be consistent in asking, because sometimes they might not, your audience might not respond. So but it's just being consistent, and from there, getting those ideas.
Awesome. I love that. Especially looking at your analytics, because that's just going to give you, because there's sometimes subscribers, some people who watch your content are not subscribers, so you can't really
Right.
ask them. So just having the data saying, wow, people are more interested in seeing behind the scenes, more photography stuff, well, let me lean towards that. And then if you ask your audience who are showing up for you consistently, yeah, Yesenia, we really would kind of want to see more photo stuff, really want to see more vloggy stuff, then you start doing that. That's smart.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's testing it out.
Yeah. How often do you multi-stream? I was supposed to multi-stream this stream, but I completely forgot. so I normally stream. So I normally stream directly to Twitch, obviously YouTube, and Twitter, and then sometimes Facebook. So with Ecamm, you're able to do multi-stream, but my internet is not the best, so I can only stream to two destinations. So I normally just do YouTube and Twitch. Um, yeah. What about you?
Normally, I just do YouTube, and if I do multi-stream, then I'll just do YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, same. Let's see. How do y'all pick a niche for your channels, or did you evolve it organically, or did it evolve organically? Hmm.
Do you want to start, or?
I'll start. I'll start.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
I honestly had no niche starting out on YouTube. Then it kind of slowly became, let's talk about cameras and computers and technology. And then it kind of just slowly shifted into podcast production and studio spaces. But my channel, I don't remember my previous channel name, but changed my channel name to my name, Gil Dormius, because I wanted the niche to just be me and the thing that I'm currently interested in. But I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change my channel into a drawing QAnon channel tomorrow, because that's something that I love. But also, I've created an audience of people who want to talk about podcast production, video, cameras, and all that. I can create a separate channel to talk about other things. So I have another channel where I talk about anime. I have another channel where I talk about health and stuff. But this channel in particular, I don't want to waste anybody's time by just saying, hey guys, I'm now a rapper. Download my mixtape. He's like, wait, this is not what I came here for. I love and support Gil, but what is this rapper thing? That's not what I want. So I've always just kind of like, I have my niche, which is content creation, and I stick it to it. But if I have any other ideas, I just create another channel.
Yeah, agreed. In my case, I started as my business as a photographer. So photography was the main niche for my YouTube channel, my first YouTube channel, and it was mainly, a lot of it was behind the scenes for photography sessions, fashion photography, gear reviews, that kind of thing. It wasn't until like 2020, 2021 where I started video podcasting, and then I started adding my podcast content onto the YouTube channel, because I was still talking about marketing your business for photography, and then I kind of organically evolved into what it is right now, which is really content creation and video podcasting. But I did that shift. What definitely hurt my YouTube channel, in the sense that it was all so much video and behind the scenes, that I switched it to a talking head format, and let's talk about marketing. So if
Mm,
you're thinking of pivoting, do it slowly. If you're thinking of pivoting within your own channel and not creating a new one, do it slowly, but start with content that could bridge the gap between the new topic and your previous, and that topic that your current audience knows you for, and see if you can bridge that gap and start slowly introducing the new audience and the new content to the older audience. And hopefully that doesn't happen. But
yeah.
it doesn't work like it happened to me.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Hey, but that's
Hey, you live and
life
you learn.
lessons. Yeah, but
Yeah,
also, but
exactly.
but also now you'd be able to take that knowledge and experience and give it to your clients, because you do consulting as well. You do coaching
Correct.
and you teach people. And that's the beautiful thing about being a creator. You go through something, and now you're quite literally able to teach someone how to avoid that obstacle. And they pay you for it because you've been through it. So, but yeah, let's talk about that. Like, what services do you provide to help people avoid those mistakes as we begin to wrap up here?
Well, aside, I do podcast production, but aside of that, my focus is on video podcast coaching. So we really talk about based whatever we cover is really based on your podcast and your business goals. So it's whether you're starting out and like launching your podcast. So maybe we can focus on the strategy going into that, or maybe you're ready to take your podcast to another level and then make your production more intentional and see how you can then get some leads and sales from your podcast and you need a strategy for that. So those are some of the things that we could cover in my podcast strategy sessions. And I also have a freebie resource that's YouTube for podcasters. So if you're an audio mainly or mainly an audio content creator, audio podcaster, and you're thinking of going into YouTube and are wondering how you can merge the two and are not fully sure how you can start using YouTube for your audio podcast, it's a free resource that I have that can help you how to optimize your YouTube channel for your podcast, whether you're creating it in audio or video.
All right, I'm gonna actually post the link to that right now. Let's see. I'll post a link to that freebie in the chat, so y'all could definitely check it out. I'll start so it stays at the top. And also post your strategy coaching link here. I'll also
Thanks.
put that in the description. That way, these lovely folks can take a look at it. Oh,
Sorry, my dog.
puppies, puppies. All right, we're just going to bullet train these last questions. Um, let's see here. How do you pick a niche? We already answered that. Okay, I'm back home. Full keyboard. Awesome. Do y'all stick to a schedule to make content? Me, I should, but I should definitely stick to a niche. But due to full time job and other responsibilities, it's really hard to like schedule. But once I get like a solid schedule, I'll be able to. What about you?
For my podcast, I do. So I have two podcasts. One is Focus on Bloom podcast, and that's all about video podcasting and content creation. And although right now we're on a season break, normally publish them weekly on Fridays. And then I have a Spanish podcast, Bloom Creativo, which also talks about video and podcasting and content creation. And I schedule those on Tuesday. So I try to keep those in a very strict publishing schedule.
Anna from the podcast space, she actually gave me the idea of doing seasons, so I'm really excited to do that. We have another question here. Let me make this a little bit bigger because my eyes. I should be wearing my glasses, but so we know you use Ecamm when you used to use OBS. What was the software you utilized to capture the multi-track audio from the Rodecaster Pro? I'm trying to record each track individually. Hmm. I honestly don't remember. I, that's a hard question for me because I use Ecamm now, so it has that multi-track. But I could definitely look into that for you. So hopefully on the next stream, which will be, I'll definitely let you know in the newsletter. But hopefully next week I'll be able to answer that question. Do you know the answer to that or no?
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah. All right, let's get to the next one here.
Sorry.
Reason being, there's new software that will allow me to edit using the audio. Okay. Yes, I've heard of the stuff like that. But Ecamm is like the best for me. Ecamm or Riverside. Riverside works great as well. The use
You
of the
can
audio.
to Riverside.
Yeah, yeah. Check out Riverside. Do you have your affiliate link for Riverside?
Yes, I do.
Yes, let's get that on there as well.
All
Um,
right.
that way we can kind of get everybody on board.
and actually have a code. Do you want me to
Ooh,
email it to you or?
yeah. Let's email it to these lucky folks.
All right. Yeah, if you use my code, you can get 15% off your subscription.
Okay.
All right. There you go. I'm just gonna reply to that email that I sent you earlier. And
Okay.
oops.
Yesenia hable Castellino. What does that mean?
Hablo castellano. Sí, hablo castellano.
What does
I
that
speak
mean?
Spanish.
Okay. What is Castellano?
It's another word for like Spanish.
Okay. All right. So we got your Riverside link here. We're going to copy. And then if you use code Bloom15, save 15% off. So use code Bloom15. What happened to the camera? Alrighty, let's get back to that. And boom, here we go. To the right. So yeah, that's use that code. Castellano is the proper way to say I speak Spanish. Oh, cool. Learned something new today. Um, I guess I could teach y'all some Creole, some Haitian Creole. Vous parlez
Cool.
Creole?
Je parle pas créole.
Oui. Oh yeah, you speak French.
I do.
So how do you speak French? I know we got to wrap up soon, but can you give us that little story?
I
Because
just learned it in college.
oh wow, all right, enchanté.
Enchanté aussi.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a blast. Check out Yesenia. She's on Instagram. She's on Thread. She's on YouTube. Hope y'all. Yesenia, my wife said you look like a rock star. Rock star
Thank
with your
you.
straight hair. Are you reading your PDF file?
No, he said we are reading your PDF file. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Gotcha. I'm sorry. I told you I need glasses. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yesenia, thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
like joining
Thank
me.
you.
This
Gracias.
is really fun. All right. All right, everyone. Bye. Oh, Joe says lots of great information in this live stream. Thanks to everyone for sharing questions and information. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for
Thank
always
you,
tuning
Joe.
in. All right. Bye.